Hello, welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jimmy Qualls, and with me, as always, is co-host Tate Mathews. Tate, football's on top of us, man. We are out of the dead period finally. We got Coach Kriesky here, new head coach of Centennial Cougars with us. Coach Kriesky, I know that everybody, including you and your staff, was chomping at the bit to get off dead period.
Oh, yes. My brother and some other coaches in the area gave me a hard time last week. My offensive defensive staff, we all came in last Tuesday, worked Tuesday through Friday. We were there. Everybody, for some reason, we all took the vacation the first week, the dead period, the second week. I guess our wives kicked us out of the house. We were ready to get to work, and we were chomping at the bit to get back on Monday. Glad the ball got rolling and ready for a little 7-on-7 on Thursday.
Well, Matt, you mentioned your brother. For those that don't know, your brother Will Kriesky is the head coach at Riverdale, Murfreesboro Riverdale School, and we're going to see some clips from the Kriesky Bowl, if you will, back in the spring game. But it's an interesting dynamic. You come from a football family, obviously. Give us a little background on you and your family in the football realm.
Originally from Henry County. My father was assistant coach and head coach at Camden Central High School for a couple years. Growing up, me and my brother was ball boys. We were on the sideline from the time we could beat Mama let us. So played for Coach Webb in high school. I always knew that I was going to be a high school football coach one day. Fortunate after graduating from MTSU, sticking around the Murfreesboro area, and we're a football family. That's when we get together, that's all we talk about.
Well, you've got your brother as a head coach. Your connection here is, of course, the doctor of defense, as we like to call him, Franklin High School's head coach, Donnie Webb. Of course, you know his wife as well from the Henry County days, Dr. Webb, the real doctor in the household, yes. Lee Webb.
He ran track for her.
Yes, yes.
Matt and Will are why Dr. Webb got out of coaching and became an administrator because of the track athlete she had.
She took us to a track meet in Jackson. Jabari Greer was on the relay team we were going by. I'll never forget. He gets about 100 yards in front of everybody and just kind of looks back and laughs at us. And here we come. Henry County comes strolling in about second to last. So.
And that's hard.
And she went into administration.
Yeah.
It's impossible to get lapped in a relay, but y'all did that day, right?
Yeah.
So, well, anyway, Coach Kriesky here, Centennial High School. Let's start with your roster real quick. Let's talk about some things here. We have Eli Katina right now picking up a lot of traffic in the summer circuit. For those who don't know, in football, the summer circuit picks up these player associations, these 7-on-7s, etc., all these exposure camps. Eli Katina right now with offers from Air Force and who else?
Air Force, Tennessee Tech, Eastern Kentucky, and SEMO. I can't say enough about this young man. His work ethic is unbelievable. He has been to as many camps, these college camps, that his parents allow him to go, and that his time allows him. He really enjoys the game of football, studies the game of football. It was one weekend we were after a scrimmage. We were up there working late, and he calls me. He gets some equipment using him, and he was up to school doing drills close to midnight. I mean, he's the type of kid you got to run off the field, tell him to go home and actually get some rest and be a kid. He's going to be a leader of our team. He's going to be one of the people that our young guys are going to, especially our young offensive linemen, are going to look up to this year. So we expect great leadership from him.
Well, anybody that's familiar with WCS Sports Conference football know the Katina family. What a great family they are, and their business. And there's several of the kids playing. I think we have a couple at Franklin. I know we have obviously the one at Centennial. So I look forward to seeing how that plays out for him. Maybe Air Force will not be the last ball to drop. I think there'll be more possibly in that. Another one right now is probably getting the most traffic. Could be Devious Chrisman right now, your 6'3" receiver. I know that his summer circuit he's had a good one.
Yes,
and a lot of traffic's picking up right now. What is on the table for him?
He currently doesn't have any offers, but he is currently talking to, I know Tennessee Tech is highly interested in him. EKU Eastern is also interested. I see him going maybe to OVC school. I think he's probably, as long as he has a good year, I believe that he'll be having a lot of schools knocking at his door coming January and February, right before signing day. And
last, lineman Nick Bell. He's also has some traffic as far as the recruiting process goes. Right now, who does he have?
He has Jackson State out of Mississippi has offered him. He's in talks with UTC, also Tennessee Tech. He's another young man. I can't say anything negative. Him and Nick Bell and Eli are going to be our leaders. I expect Nick to be a leader on our defensive line side of the ball, and Eli offense. Those are guys you want kids to look up to. Those are great leaders, and I've been highly impressed with both these young men, their work ethic, and the things they've done this offseason since I've been at Centennial, and I'm highly impressed with both these young men. Expect big things from them this year.
And I think Eli's the type of kid. I think what he needs is just more games under his belt. And he goes out and does what you think he's capable of doing on both sides of the ball during the season. I think he's going to get even more attention.
Yes.
He's a young man. If he can stay healthy, he looks like he's gotten bigger. And if he goes out there and does what he's capable of doing, he's a guy who can really influence a game from both sides of the line.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about offensively quarterback. I know we talked off air. You've got some real competition going on there. You have a few guys that you're looking at. Obviously, we are familiar with Centurion DeRoe last year, kind of the unsung hero, if you will, for the Ravenwood game, the big win that he came in and played. He's going to be in the mix. You got Trey Stewart, some other guys. Tell us a little bit about the quarterback scenario.
We got 4 guys competing for the quarterback position right now. Like you said, we got Centurion. We would like use Centennial in other places. He did come in last year, the Ravenwood game. Trey Stewart. We got a new kid from the Smyrna area, played at Lancaster for the past couple of years, Jackson Sullivan, and John Michael Law, who will be a rising sophomore. We expect good things out of him in the future. All 4 are working really hard. They're all 4 competing. We're in the next couple of weeks, hopefully one will come and stand out in front of the others. So we won't have to go into a situation where going and leading into week 1, we're still uncertain about who our starting quarterback is. They're all 4 of them. Even with Jackson starting late June, he's picked up the offense. Trey and Centurion's done a good job since this spring, working with Coach Glover, our quarterback's coach. They're doing a lot of things, and we're adding more things each week this summer. Just got to get one of them to take charge. That's one of the question marks. And I met with them this week. They've got to have one of them just take charge and lead. Hey, this is going to be my team. There's not one of them that's standing out from the other. They're all just kind of neck and neck right now, and it's going to be a good competition leading up to week 1 for us.
Well, Coach, we've started our football one-on-one sessions here on Sports Connection. So, Centennial defense, the Cougar way, right? Obviously, this is your first year as a head coach, so there's not any game film from you all last year. What we're going to do, I believe you've got one of the series, 10-play series from the Kriesky Bowl
Yes.
lined up, right? For those of us that don't really understand football, give us kind of what kind of defense we can expect out of you all, and then let's kind of go through it and kind of coach us up of some things we can be looking at. Again, this is from the Kriesky Bowl in spring practice.
Yeah. We're going to base what's called out a 3-4. So we'll have three down linemen with their hands on the ground. Here versus Riverdale, they have a tight end, so we're going to call our strength. Usually, majority of the time, depending on game situation, but here we call it our strength to the tight end. So Tony Wall, who's another outstanding young man, he's going to be one of our outside linebacker, our strong outside linebacker. He's going to line up on the tight end, and then our weak side linebacker. Being a ghost we call ghost technique. Then we got Clay Carter, who's a returning inside linebacker. Our main objective, these 3 guys are going to be slanting. We're going to step more probably lateral than vertical. We're going to try to control the gaps. You got a big guy like Eli Katina here at nose. Hopefully he can take up 2 guys. So we got our young man Clay Carter running free and was able to make tackles. Because one thing I'll say about Clay Carter, man, he's physical. If this guy was 6 foot and 200 pounds, there'd be every school around will be knocking on his door because he's not afraid of anything. Hopefully we can get some of his good clips he had this spring against Riverdale because he had some good hits. We're in a cover 3 shell, which we're playing cover 3, which cover 3 means the corner's responsibility. Their first responsibility, I learned this when I was at Oakland under Coach McDaniel. We had some fun times, but cover 3, you don't want anything behind you at all, ever in cover 3.
Number one responsibility of a cover 3
You don't want
corner,
anything.
don't get beat
deep. Amen. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that.
So what would be the second priority? Are you wanting to take away the inside slant and try to keep them outside and in front of you? Is that the cover 3 technique that you want, or is it just don't get beat deep, period?
Well, main thing, yeah, don't get beat deep, period. You know,
or outside. So yes, you're right.
Quick game, you know, as a secondary, you know, starting out as a secondary coach, it's hard. You know, you're gonna preach get deep, and then here they're hitting you with the hitches, so you don't have to mix up the coverages. But I always tell my corners, let me yell at you for breaking up on the quick game. Let me get on to you, but don't let me get on to you for getting beat deep, you know. So I said I can get over and look past you, you know, breaking up on a hitch. Just when I catch the quick game, I don't want a big gain. I want you to break up, boom. So what the corners read, they're reading what I call ball to number 1. So they're reading basically the quarterback to the receiver. So we do a little drill, his head ought to be on a swivel. So he ought to be in his first 3 steps, he ought to be able to read it, either it's going to be pass or run. Once he sees this run, you know, you can't come just flying in here to the quarterback, because you know, again, they do, you know, hitch and go or halfback pass, whatever. So we teach him to collide with the receiver, outside arm free, boom, block destruction, and then make a play. We'll start this play and dissect it a little bit. As we go back, the strengths here, the D-line should be stepping right. I think Eli might have took a false step here at first, so we'll start with the D-line. Everybody should be stepping right, and the end, Nick Bell should be engaging with the guard right here. Boom. He does. Excuse me. That's Connor Tremaine. That's Connor Tremaine right here. He's a little high. He needs to get his pad level lower and get striking with his hands via the neck of the guard. Which isn't bad. He doesn't bad. If you watch Eli Katina again, you know, with him stepping louder, we hope he's taking up the center and the guard. He doesn't do too bad of a job. It's still spring. Early on was when our first week with them. Our weak side linebacker right here his read's a little slow. His guard pulls. So if you see Clay Carter again, who we talked about, watch his guard pulls and watch how quick he flashes downhill.
He's coming.
He is. Boom. He's there. All right, now let's talk about Nick Bell and our outside linebacker here on this side. Nick Bell stepping right. Boom. He's engaging. He knows. He flashes inside. We're starting to teach a little different technique than what we did this spring, so that was on us. But he should engage and sit there, and then once he sees run, boom, then he can wrong arm, and then now he can wrong arm, which is not bad because our outside linebacker is boxing. Mm-hmm. Our free safety should be his 3-step read now. Should all tell him that it's run, so he should be in the picture now, coming up, so also helping on run support.
Great thing he did. That lineman's kicking out to try to drive him out, get a big gap. He got down low, hunkered down, didn't get too deep.
Yes.
He stayed right there on the line, and that was a big part of that, right?
Yes, it was.
He goes up too far, now you got a gap.
Well, I'll tell you what, what we're going to do when we come back, we'll see the next play. We need to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our visit with Coach Matt Kriesky of Centennial Cougars. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Please come on out and join us at the 2016 Williamson County Fair from August 5th to the 13th at the Ag Expo Park in Franklin, Tennessee. This year's theme is Barnyard Mardi Gras. For any more questions or information, please visit www.williamsoncountyfair.org. Hope to see you there.
Hello, welcome back to Sports Connection. We have Coach Matt Kriesky, Centennial's head coach. Coach, keep on going. We're looking at the defensive side of the ball for Centennial, and inform us about what's going on with your 3-4 defense.
This is, I think we're on play number 2. We'll run through it real quick, and then we'll come back and dissect it and talk about some things that we're doing. We have changed some things up to what we did during the spring. You know, it was a new staff and all of us getting together, learning each other, learning our kids. But right here, we're slanting. We're going to the right. We all stepping right. Tight ends up top. We call the strength of the tight end here. Our strong safety's rolling down a little bit, lining up outside the tight end, and we're in a cover 3 shell behind us. Here, we stayed a lot of cover 3 during the spring just to install. We're probably a little deep here corner-wise, but I'll take that. Again, like we talked about earlier off air, our outside linebacker, he believes he gets a pass read, so he knows he's dropping to the flats.
You got doubles down here.
Yes.
Your strong safety's on the field side. Somebody's got to have flat.
Correct. He should be apexing him. You know what he's got to be concerned about. Right? You always got to be concerned about his splits. Be ready for maybe a crack block because you know you can't get yourself out of position and make it an easy crack block for him and open up some running lane here. So you've always, again, the outside linebacker, his head needs to be on a swivel too. Once he gets past read or once he sees action, boom, redirect to number 2.
This formation right here, he's got a lot to think about.
Yes. Out of cover 3, I believe it's a tough situation. You think about it, you basically got it's a 2 receiver set. What could hurt us right now if they run these number 2 receivers vertical and cover 3, which puts the free safety in a bind. We were fortunate they didn't do that. Again, we stay pass. Again, like we talked about earlier, quick game. He's reading ball to 1. He's pedal, boom, brakes. Once his hips, he needs to brake a little bit quicker, as you can see. Boom, as soon as he sits his hips, boom, he ought to be driving. You know, we want to teach quick, boom, ball's released, he ought to be on it. So he ought to be basically running. He does a good job, but he ought to be basically running into him as soon as he'll be able to break the ball up. And this free safety, our strong safety here, his eyes, he should have been sitting right.
Out on the right.
Yes. The tight end, Tony's doing a good job getting his hands on the tight end. He just needs to sit in the window. You know, basically, you know, he's going to drive on the flat late, but he ought to have been sitting right there in the window. He gets a little too deep. I think he got caught up with we do a good job, Clyde, getting our hands on Tony Wall does a good job with the tight end here. Then again, Clay Carter reads pass. He's dropping at 45. To the next one. Yes, we wouldn't. Our alignment here messes us up a little bit. We wasn't ready for this formation in spring, not coming in blind. We didn't know. Our strong safety should have been rolled down a little bit. You know, we're out man right here. I don't know why we're a little lost right here in this position.
Not only do they have numbers on you, they got numbers to the field.
Yes, that's not good. We make an adjustment after this play, but everything's not perfect. Tony does a good job, if I'm not mistaken. Look, he's stringing it out. That's all we can ask him to do.
Right.
And you know, our free safety's got to be here. He's doing a good job stringing out. Boom, I don't know where. Boom, we got to be right there. That's a growing process right there for us.
Yeah, if we say of the safety right here, you would think with nobody covered that he would directly fill that gap.
Yeah. That's an area we got to improve on.
And that's tough for him too. He's got run support.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, his number one thing is he can't get beat deep.
Yeah.
So he's got to know before he can come flying up.
And again, the corner, he ought to see run a little bit quicker, keep him outside, giving up a little too much ground. But you know, you tell secondary guys, you know, just bring them down. Our free safety does a really good job. Takes a little bit of, I think the strong safety with his alignment being wrong gets his angle wrong. But if the strong safety would lined up correctly, I believe Centennial would have came down at a better angle.
Yeah, because they're on the same line.
And then our backside corner doing a good job, doing a 20-man rule, keeping all of them in front of him. We'll go to the next one.
All right. Is this the first time they motioned you?
Yes.
So what is he? What are the backers looking for?
All right. It was motion by number 2. And again, I believe we're in our 2 shell right here. Yeah, correct. Now, what should happen now? Hopefully, he'll roll downhill right here, and we'll just be back in our cover 3. Which he needs to be quicker on the roll down. He sees he's late. That's if he would have came down. If he would have came down where he should have been, his eyes might not have been cracked like he did. The corner needs to be yelling crack right there. But as you can see, our outside linebacker.
That's a nice block.
It was. He was excited too. As you can tell, the Riverdale guy felt like he got his money's worth. Right.
He did, but then Tony Wall he's doing a good job of if he can get his hands. The tight end's goes inside. He sees a down block. He's running with him. He slips and steals, makes a play.
Great job.
So it wasn't bad by him. He's an outstanding young man. All right. Oh, I thought. Okay. So then we've adjusted a little bit. Here's a sophomore at free safety, Jariel Wilson. If he keeps coming on, he might do some really good things for. Been highly impressed with him this spring and summer. And then that frees up Centennial to play a little strong safety at times. He's rolling down right here. He does a good job, as you can see, filling in here. I know I'm getting carried away with the secondary a little too much, and that's where I usually start. I'm sorry. Tony Wall does a good job again at outside linebacker. He's low. He gets a down block. He's taking on the fullback right here, H-back, whatever you want to call him, boom. And then it has a hard time. As you see, the guard's wrapping around. Clay Carter is taking on lineman right there. Can't say he puts him right there. Does a good job.
I mean, you have to think of those guys in those positions and who they're replacing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because you're going to be able to turn on very soon in August. Turn on the TV on Saturdays. You know Tyrell Dodson
Yes.
at A&M playing that position, 6'4", 230.
And our young inside linebacker right here, be a junior, Ryan Farley, doesn't do a good job. Again, he's going what we call cloudy to clear. Once he sees the opening, once he sees an opening, then he'll go.
So you mentioned at the very beginning the way you all are doing it. Your front guys, your down guys with the hands on the ground, they're slanting, but it's more of a horizontal. It's not a vertical. Does that change? Riverdale's going to be a heavy run team.
Yeah.
They're going to pass, but is that what you're trying to do? Is, like you said, it's all about keeping those linebackers free. If this was a team that passes the ball more, does that change a little bit?
Yes, we maybe ask them. We got a call worked in where give them they know they can get upfield a little bit. A lot of times when you tell D linemen, boom, you're slanting here, you've got to teach them not to get too deep. At my previous school, I had smaller D linemen, which basically I wanted them to get in the backfield and just cause problems. Here I feel like we've got some bigger guys who can control the gaps and can set things down at the line of scrimmage.
So watching this, you've mentioned this was your first scrimmage, right?
Correct.
Obviously, there's a lot of mistakes. There's some lineup problems, but it looks to me like you got 11 guys out there on most plays playing hard, and the guys are doing a pretty good job up front. It looks like of clogging that up and letting those guys behind them be free.
Correct. We've come as a staff and as a team as a whole. I feel like we've come a long way since this scrimmage. Again, this was the first we were, if I'm not mistaken, 3 or 4 days in pads with these guys. So they were still getting accustomed to things we do, getting adjusted to our schemes offensively and defensively. So they had a lot on their plate. And to come out here, one thing that I was highly impressed with, like you said, they were running the football. We had 11 guys, I felt like, especially on defense at all times, running the football. Again, offensively, I thought we executed well at times. We were just getting some things down assignment-wise that we were cleaning up that we messed up, but we're getting there. It's a process, but we're slowly coming along, and hopefully by week 1, we'll have everything cleaned up and ready to go.
Well, as anybody that's coached, that there's a very big learning gap there. There's always going to be an opportunity. The verbiage may be different. The process usually is similar, but there's always a different. You want to get your vocabulary in that you like to use, your methods, your schemes. So obviously, you're going to get there.
Yes.
It may take a little longer. Now, with that being said, I want to look at something real quick. Week 1, week 2. You have Doctor of Defense, Franklin High School. Yes. You got to go to Franklin,
yes,
and then you have to turn around and you play at home, Independence. And that probably doesn't do you any favors as a head coach. Not saying that you won't win those games. I'm just saying that's a tough gauntlet. But welcome to WCS Sports Conference. I mean, there's not really an easy week. 5A football, 6A football. You're going to open up with Franklin, who a lot of folks are saying they have an opportunity to run the schedule. Independence, a lot of people are saying they're going to run the schedule. And then you come back with Dickson County, who we talked about off the air. Dickson County's not going to be a pushover this year, I feel like. I feel like they're going to be pretty good. Then you come back week 4 away at Ravenwood. Coach Westman there, new just like you. Probably some growing pains as well. But you're thinking right there, week 3, week 4, things will be clicking. Now, regardless of what happens week 1 and 2, you've got to keep that mental stability with those kids and saying, hey, this is a process of learning.
And that's the biggest thing we've been talking about this summer. The process. Don't get caught up in the moment. Let's keep getting better each day. And then that's our goal. If we want to see improvement from week 1 to week 10, hopefully by week 10 we're making a push, and we'll get ready for the playoffs.
Well, obviously there in your region, Northeast, West Creek, Clarksville, Brentwood, Rossview, Henry County. We know the Henry County connection. That'll be interesting. They'll always be tough. They always have a big crowd, and you got to go to there. That's not easy on travel. I think that Coach Crawford and Brentwood is going to be a team that's going to be, by the end of the year, going to be pretty tough. So, it's never easy, and you wouldn't sign up for it if it was. That's just not the way to do business. But you know that if you get things right and capture that light in the bottle, anything can happen. The Murphy Fair prediction, 3rd in the region. That's obviously behind Henry County and Brentwood. That gets you in the playoffs, and you just got to make sure you take care of business, as you know, against those Clarksville teams. Get yourself in a position for playoffs. Anything can happen. I do want to say something that we've got coming up real quick, briefly as we close out. Tate, August the 4th, our first ever inaugural media day for WCS Sports Conference.
It's going to be awesome. It's at Nolensville, right?
Nolensville High School. On
the turf. Another big thing they're doing. It's going to be neat. We got a lot of impressive people, and I think it will be well attended.
I think it will be too. Our quality of coaches from A to Z is second to none. I mean, I really firmly believe all you guys do a fantastic job. Everybody will be on the main stage. Each head coach will have a 15-minute window to address the media, if they will, and have some of their players there off the side. So it's going to be a fun day, August the 4th from 12 to 3 at Nolensville. And last, I would like to have a shout-out to Dave Luce, head coach at Austin P, my former head coach when I played there, a mentor of mine. Had a tumor removed. I wish him the best of luck. I know that he's got a road ahead of him that's going to be tough, and that he can do it. He's a strong bird, man. He's been around a while, and I wish him the best of luck with that. We talked earlier that his granddaughter, who is 5 years old, that just went through chemotherapy and had a tumor removed from them. So I know that family's been under stress, and I wished Coach Luce the best of luck in his endeavors on that. And I know that they've got a great road and a great support system, a big family, and family of not just his immediate family, but his former players and coaching staffs and everybody around him. So, well, Coach Kriesky, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we look forward to seeing how the Centennial Cougars get going this year. And it's been WCS Sports Connection. We'll see you next week.